Hey, welcome. Ever find yourself wondering what a real millionaire's blueprint actually looks like? I mean, forget all the flashy headlines and the lottery wins for a second. Today, we're going to deconstruct the actual path to real wealth. We're combining some incredible, real-world stories with the proven psychological habits that, really fuel that kind of success.
So, let's just dive right in. What is the real secret to making a million? We've dug through a ton of stories of self-made millionaires, and honestly, the answer? It's not about having some world-changing revolutionary idea. It's really about a specific way of thinking that, and this is the cool part, anyone can adopt.
You know, the biggest myth out there is that all this wealth just comes from a sudden stroke of genius or, just pure dumb luck. But the reality? It's a system built on very specific habits, a really resilient mindset, and a series of deliberate actions. And that's fantastic news, right? Because a system can be learned.
Okay, so where does it all begin? Well, it starts with a spark, but here's the twist. That spark is almost never some world-changing invention. More often than not, it's a simple solution to a very common, very relatable problem. Just take a look at Daniel Asho. He wasn't trying to invent the next big thing. Nope. He was just trying to help his dad find a decent contractor. He saw frustration, that whole gamble of just picking a name out of the phone book, and he turned that personal pain point into Service Central, which is now a multi-million-dollar business.
And you see this pattern of solving a simple inconvenience again and again. Think about Michael Paul from Pack and Send. We've all been there, right? Trying to ship something that's fragile or just weirdly shaped. He didn't invent shipping. He just made one super annoying part of it incredibly simple.
And here's a third way in. Trudy Gilbert was just naturally good at matchmaking. She saw her professional friends struggling to meet people, and she realized her personal talent could actually be a professional service, so she built a whole business around it. The spark can literally be your own unique skill applied to someone else's problem. So here's the crucial point. The idea doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to solve a frustration, an inconvenience, or a need. The magic, it turns out, isn't in the idea itself, it's in the commitment to actually do something about it. So the first big takeaway is this: stop hunting for a revolutionary idea and start looking for a relatable problem to solve. All right, so if a simple idea is the spark, what's the engine that keeps it all going through the tough times that are, let's be honest, definitely going to come? Well, it all comes down to your mindset. This is where we separate the fleeting successes from lasting wealth.
Let's start with the absolute foundation, your why. And I'm not talking about just wanting financial freedom. That's way too shallow. It won't get you through the mud. You have to dig deeper. You have to ask yourself why again and again, like 7 times, until you hit that raw, emotional core of what's really driving you.
And this is what a deep why looks like in the real world. When John Simmond was staring down a $5 million debt, his motivation wasn't just to get out of the red. As he says, it was about making sure his kids could have a future. Now that is a why that will power you through absolutely anything.
And paired with that deep why is something our sources call the hero mindset. It's this: when disaster strikes, it's the conscious choice to focus on the solution, not on the obstacle. You don't waste energy pointing fingers or feeling sorry for yourself. You channel all of it into finding the way forward.
I mean, this quote from John Paul DeJoria, a guy who went from being homeless to a billionaire, it just captures it perfectly. The hero mindset isn't about ignoring reality. It's about seeing the bottom not as the end, but as a solid foundation, a place to start climbing up.
And here's that mindset in action. When the financial crisis just destroyed her customer base, Angela Vithulgis didn't see ruin. No, she saw a disaster she could pull apart, reorganize, and turn into a challenge she could conquer. And get this, she ended up 30% more profitable after the crisis. Incredible. And as you go through all these stories, you start to see the same golden rules pop up again and again. They aren't really secrets. They're just the shared wisdom of people who've been through it all. You see these themes: using a downturn to innovate, empowering your staff like they're your #1 customer, and really truly believing that there are no limits. It's a powerful mix of strategy and pure belief. Okay, so you've got the spark and you've got the engine, but what's the fuel that keeps you going for the long haul? Well, it's about redefining what success actually means to you. And a lot of the time, it has very little to do with the number in your bank account. For Jonathan Baroche, who was turning down multi-million-dollar offers when he was just a teenager, yeah, the financial freedom was nice, but the real thrill, the real success, was that feeling of creation,
The joy came from seeing physical proof that he had built something real, something that would last.
And here's another really powerful way to redefine success. For broadcaster Alan Jones, wealth isn't a scorecard, it's a tool. The ultimate pleasure for him isn't in having things, but in sharing them, using his resources to create joy and opportunity for the people around him.
So, we've looked at the spark, the engine, and the fuel, but how do you actually combine all of them into real action? Well, it boils down to a pretty simple, repeatable loop that, honestly, anyone can start today.
Here it is. This is your blueprint. First, stop looking for that genius idea and start looking for a common frustration to solve. Maybe it's your own or someone else's. Second, connect that solution to your deepest, most emotional why. And third, commit to doing the hard, uncomfortable, totally unglamorous things that most people just aren't willing to do.
And that really brings us to the final, most crucial point, and it's captured perfectly in this quote. Success isn't some secret club. It's a choice to take on the tasks that other people avoid. So the only question left is the one right there on the screen. What is one of those things that you